Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a 1997 self-help book written by Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter. It advocates the importance of financial literacy, financial independence, and building wealth through investing in assets. The book is divided into 10 chapters, each of which discusses a key financial concept. Chapter 1. The Rich Dad Lesson. In this chapter, Kiyosaki introduces the two fathers who have influenced his financial education: his biological father, who he calls Poor Dad, and the father of his best friend, whom he calls Rich Dad. Poor Dad was a highly educated man who worked as an accountant for the government. He believed in the importance of education and hard work, but he never achieved financial success. Rich Dad was an 8th grade dropout who started his own successful business. He believed in the importance of financial education and investing in assets. Chapter 2. Mind Your Own Business. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket, while a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Rich Dad taught Kiyosaki to focus on acquiring assets, while Poor Dad taught Kiyosaki to focus on acquiring liabilities, such as a house or a car. Chapter 3. The Rich Don't Work for Money. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of financial independence. He argues that most people work for money their entire lives, but they never achieve financial independence. Rich Dad taught Kiyosaki to build wealth through investing in assets, so that his money could work for him. Chapter 4. The Cash Flow Quadrant. In this chapter, Kiyosaki introduces the cash flow quadrant, which divides people into 4 groups based on their relationship with money. E. Employees, people who work for a salary or wage. S. Self-employed, people who work for themselves, but still rely on their own labor to generate income. B. Business owners, people who own businesses that generate income even when they are not working. I. Investors, people who invest their money in assets that generate income. Kiyosaki argues that the key to financial independence is to move from the E and S quadrants to the B and I quadrants. Chapter 5. Why the Rich Get Richer and the Poor Get Poorer. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the financial education gap between the rich and the poor. He argues that the rich are taught about money from a young age, while the poor are not. This gives the rich a significant advantage in building wealth. Chapter 6. The rich invest in assets, the poor invest in liabilities. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of investing in assets. He argues that assets are the key to building wealth, while liabilities are the key to financial ruin. Chapter 7. The rich blew up their minds first. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of financial risk-taking. He argues that the rich are willing to take risks with their money, while the poor are not. This allows the rich to generate high returns on their investments. Chapter 8. The rich are good at debt, the poor are bad at debt. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of using debt wisely. He argues that debt can be a powerful tool for wealth building, if it is used correctly. However, he also warns that debt can be a major financial burden, if it is not used wisely. Chapter 9. The rich have their money work for them, the poor work for their money. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of financial leverage. He argues that the rich use financial leverage to amplify their returns on investment. However, he also warns that financial leverage can be a double-edged sword, and it can lead to financial ruin, if it is not used wisely. Chapter 10. The rich invent their own rules, the poor follow the rules. In this chapter, Kiyosaki discusses the importance of thinking outside the box. He argues that the rich are not afraid to break the rules, if it means achieving their financial goals. However, he also warns that breaking the rules can be risky, and it is important to understand the risks before taking any action. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a best-selling book that has helped millions of people around the world learn about personal finance. It is a must-read for anyone who wants to improve their financial situation. Subscribe for daily enlightening videos.